Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Appreciate you jumping on. Do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. It certainly helps the channel. Today we've got some great stuff, again, from Capitol Hill, from Tom Emmer and the Gary Gensler regime. We also have a message from Mikkel and a message from John Deaton regarding Mark Cuban. But before we jump into the news, let's take a look at pricing. Bitcoin up above 64,000. Looking good, up 1.44% in the last 24 hours with a $1.28 trillion market cap. Ethereum sitting at 2,634. Solana sitting at 152. And XRP has not moved, sitting at 59 cents. Let's jump into some news here. First, from Crypto Erie. She states that CoinDesk Japan just published their interview with Ripple president Monica Long today, and 3 points stand out in this interview. One, Ripple USD stablecoin, the RLUSD, will first appear in countries or regions outside the United States where it already has a license. Following our initial issuance, we will be evaluating how to properly enter a new market like Japan. Two, our payment service already uses both XRP and stablecoins, USDT and USDC, for liquidity. This happens behind the scenes so customers don't need to know what we are handling these liquidity mechanisms, nor do they need to choose. Going forward, we will be leveraging the Ripple USD for that stablecoin. And thirdly, we are also looking at ways to bring programmability to XRPL in a native way. For example, we think, and the community thinks too, that there's a lot of potential in the XAL hooks to bring smart contracts to XRPL. So great find there from Crypto Erie on Monica Long's interview with CoinDesk Japan. Moving on to Tom Emmer, who just, again, has roasted Gary Gensler to no end. He posts here, Gary Gensler is the poster child of a bad bureaucrat. It is time for the SEC to return to its mission and protect opportunities for every American who wants to participate in the greatest capital markets in the world. Let's give a listen to Mr. Tom Emmer here.
You can't fix this guy. You can't fix this dishonest, disingenuous bureaucrat who thinks that it's his job to reign over the people as opposed to serve them. You know what, Laura? Anybody that will respect the individual's right to self-determine, anyone who believes that every American, regardless of where you come from, regardless of what your financial situation is, has the opportunity to participate in the greatest capital markets in the world, that has the opportunity to take risks that they reap a great reward without your government telling you who you can do business with, how you can do business. I mean, anybody that will respect the mission of the SEC, which is to make sure that the great financial system and specifically our capital markets are available to everyone in this country, entrepreneurs and investors alike. This guy doesn't believe that. He believes he's the one that's going to determine who an appropriate investor is and which entrepreneurs get to succeed. So we don't play winners and losers. Anybody who will allow the SEC to do its job and allow Americans to live their lives is going to be much better than this guy. You can't.
So good stuff there from Tom Emmer. He hit it on the head there for sure. He is going full steam against Gary Gensler, and many people expect, including Mikkel, who we'll hear from later on, expect Gary Gensler to be gone in the near future. So we shall see coming up. Next up, Digital Perspectives with a repost here from Mr. Poole. Mr. Poole says, on Tuesday, October 1st, 2024, Nasara Jassara will be official throughout the world. Now, you might ask, what is Nasara Jassara? And so NESARA is the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, and GESARA is Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. And they are part of a financial and political theory or belief that proposes a set of sweeping reforms aimed at transforming the economic system, erasing global debt, and instituting a new form of governance. While both concepts are not officially recognized by any government or international organization, they have gained a lot of attention um, uh, with various conspiracy theorists and fringe communities. So, um, what do these folks believe is going to happen with NESARA GESARA? They believe there's going to be debt forgiveness, uh, global elimination of all debts, including mortgages, credit cards, and other loans. This would essentially reset the global financial system and free individuals from debt burdens. Global currency reset, a new financial system with a return to asset backed currencies. We are hearing about that obviously already, particularly the gold standard, which the US used to be on and was taken off, I believe in 1971 or 72, where all global currencies would be based on tangible assets such as gold, silver, or other commodities. Third, abolishment of taxes. Proponents of this theory claim the income taxes, particularly in the US, would be abolished and replaced with a more straightforward flat tax system. New government system. These supporters argue that the removal of corrupt government systems and officials, replacing them with governance based on fairness, transparency, and accountability. Again, depending on who you listen to and what you believe, some people believe we are headed towards that as well. And that includes restructuring political institutions worldwide, restoration of constitutional law. In the US, NESARA is set to promote a return to constitutional law, implying that the current legal and financial systems are corrupt and unconstitutional. Again, depending on who you listen to, a lot of people do believe that. And then humanitarian projects. According to supporters, GESARA would also involve a massive influx of funding for humanitarian projects around the world, improving living conditions, health, education, and infrastructure globally. I think this was first kicked off by Harvey Francis Bernard in the 90s, and it's continued to gain notoriety throughout the years. So that is a brief explanation of NESARA GESARA, but let's move on to LinkedIn here, who shows a graph. It says, let's talk about international transaction costs. Did you know the average SWIFT payment can set you back $20 to $50 per transaction? In contrast, Ripple transaction costs just 0.00001 cent. And it says XRP. Which do you think is the future of international payments? XRP certainly is a lot cheaper. So, moving on, let's take a listen to Mikkel here, who has commented on Gary Gensler as well. Mikkel does some great stuff. If you're not following him, give him a follow at XRP Mikkel on X. Let's take a listen here to a bit of Mikkel.
Democratic Party right now. And there is no doubt in my mind that Kamala Harris is going to react to this accordingly. There is something that is telling me Gary Gensler is gone, and I am very confident of this prediction. At the end of the day, cryptocurrencies are a libertarian movement. They do not want to get rid of these voters. And for a while, the biggest issue was that just Kamala Harris wouldn't understand it, right? She would simply not care. She would never realize that all these people were essentially pissed at her for people like Gary Gensler. This could not be more obvious right now. And as you can see, when people like Mark Cuban are directly saying, hey, make me head of the SEC, I mean, they would love to have Cuban head of the SEC. I mean, it's a great look for the entire party. People generally like Cuban, even people like myself. I don't like Cuban, but I think he'd be the best SEC chair we've had since before Jay Clayton. So this would just be a no-brainer move. I don't think there's any loyalty to Gensler. He's hurting the party, and I believe the hot swap is in. He's out, and this could not be better news, one, for Ripple and XRP, because no person with a brain is going to continue that case. But two,
So we'll stop it there. So some rumors which will were out there that Mark Cuban has said he would throw his name in the hat for SEC chairman, uh, and do that job, and one of the jobs he'd like to do in the government. So probably not going to happen, but I think it is likely that Gary Gensler is gone. So let's take another listen to Tom Emmer here, again touching on Gary Gensler.
In an era where bipartisanship can feel scarce, Gensler has done such a terrible job running the SEC that he has managed to unite members on both sides of the aisle condemning his failed leadership. Gary Gensler has worked to consolidate his own power, even though it means crushing opportunities and, frankly, the financial future of this country. Rogue bureaucrats like Gensler are supposed to be working for the people, not reigning over them. He has wasted a large part of the SEC's resources to wage war on the crypto industry. The strategy, however, has not been successful for him as the SEC continues to lose again and again in the courts on its crusade against the digital asset innovation in this country. It's time for the SEC to return to its mission and protect opportunities for every American who wants to participate in the greatest capital markets in the world. Digital asset innovation is an important part of that. What Gary Gensler doesn't understand is fighting against crypto innovation in America isn't going to stop it. He is only going to push crypto innovation off of American soil. This is exactly how disasters like FTX occur. The United States should want digital asset businesses under its regulatory umbrella and purview so that we have a safer digital asset ecosystem. Many people are concerned that Kamala Harris would actually appoint Elizabeth Warren or Gary Gensler to be her Treasury Secretary, which would only make matters worse. Their mission to upend free markets, innovation, and global competitiveness would destroy our financial system. We can't let that happen. America is ready for the pro-crypto president, and there's only one candidate who has promised to fire Gary Gensler on day one.
Tom Emmer with strong words there against Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren, for that matter, and Kamala Harris. So we'll see what happens, but things are heating up for the SEC chairman. And finally, John Deaton here says, post about Mark Cuban says, even if you disagree with @Mark Cuban on specific issues, objectively speaking, Mark would be a breath of fresh air and a welcome change from the lawlessness of @Gary Gensler. A decade ago, Mark witnessed firsthand the type of gross overreach the SEC is capable of, and he fought against it. So let's take a quick listen to Mark here.
Could I ask you, Mark, whether you would entertain being a Treasury Secretary, Commerce Secretary in a Harris
Head of the
administration?
SEC. Head of the SEC. That's the job I would take. Maybe HHS.
Could I ask you?
So head of the SEC is the job he's putting his name out there for. We'll see what happens. Again, a lot of changes forthcoming here, I think. Is it Nassara Jassara type changes? That I'm not sure about. That seems a little far-fetched, but some of it is headed in that direction. For it all to happen on October 1st, I don't think is realistic. So we shall see. Thank you guys for tuning in. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button along with the notification bell, and I'll see you on the flip side.